everyone, my name is Knit and Craft and I am on here to talk about single pass brioche with two colors. I use this a lot in my knitting and these are my Cozy Harvest socks. This is my Frosty cable socks, and both of those use single pass brioche knitting but with different stitches. So I'm going to go through all of the stitches that you'd need for either of these socks in this video today. There's a ton of great videos about single pass brioche knitting, but most of them, if not all of them that I've seen, have to do with continental knitting. And if you're an English thrower like myself, you may be a little bit confused. I know I was when I first started out on this journey. My first jump into single pass brioche was for the Belief in Yourself socks, and I had to do those for the Sock Madness competition. So go check those socks out if you're looking for a challenge. They're really beautiful socks, and it got me on this wavelength. So without further ado, let's jump into it, and you guys can see how I hold my yarns and kind of how I tackle this technique. So the main thing that's different with single pass brioche versus regular brioche is that both yarns are used at the same time in single pass brioche. So my first stitch is going to be a knit stitch, and as you can see on every stitch there is a shawl or a yarn over associated with it. So for ease of use, we're going to refer to this dark yarn as the main color and this light yarn as the contrasting color. Now I want those cables or that brioche on the front, those knits, to be in the light color. So we're going to start off with our first brioche knit with a yarn over with the dark yarn. We're going to go in as if to knit for both the yarn over and the stitch itself. And we're going to knit that stitch with the contrasting color yarn. All right, pull tight. Now we're going to bring both yarns to the front for a brioche purl. We're going to enter the stitch and the yarn over, and we're going to purl that with the main color. All right, switching back to a brioche knit, we're going to go through both the stitch and the yarn over. We're going to grab that contrasting color from underneath the main color, bring it over top of the needle. You're creating that yarn over, you're creating that shawl as we do this, and then knit that stitch. Bringing both yarns to the front for a brioche purl, going through both the stitch and the yarn over, and then purling with the main color. That's as simple as it gets. Okay, so now we have, let's do one more brioche knit and one more brioche purl. So going through both the stitch and the yarn over again, bringing your contrasting color underneath the main color and over top of the needle, knitting that stitch, and I pull tight because I like my brioche to be tight. And then for our brioche purl, we're going to bring both yarns to the front, through that stitch and its yarn over, and purl it. All right. So now let's do a SSK. So for a brioche SSK, you're going to slip the first stitch on your needle and its yarn over to the right hand needle. You're going to slip the next stitch and its yarn over to the needle, and then you're going to knit the next stitch and its yarn over with the contrasting color. And now you're going to take your needle into both the slip stitches and their yarn overs and pass that over the top. So let's bring both yarns to the front for a brioche purl. Purl that stitch with the main color, and we'll do another SSK. So we're going to slip the next stitch on the needle with its yarn over, slip. This shawl is not oriented correctly. Let's get that on the needle correctly. Slip the next stitch and its yarn over, and then knit the following stitch and its yarn over together, and then all the slip stitches we're going to pass over the top. Looks like that. Okay, so let's do another purl, and we're going to do a increase. So in my patterns, I have a 1 to 5 increase and a 1 to 3 increase. You do that the same way, so I'm going to show you how to do this increase. So we're going to take our contrasting color, we're going to insert our needle into the next stitch and its yarn over, and we're going to knit it. Now we don't want to slip this off yet though, so we're going to keep that stitch on the left needle. We're going to yarn over, and we're going to knit again. So now we have 3 stitches on this needle. So if we're doing a 1 to 3 increase, we'd stop here, but if we're going to do a 1 to 5, we would do that again. So we're going to yarn over, back into that stitch, and knit again. So now we have 5 stitches on our needle because this is a 1 to 5 increase, and we're going to slip the last 4 over to the left needle. So now we have 1 over here and 4 over here. All right, so now we can drop our contrasting color, pick up our main color. We're gonna yarn over, bring it to the front. We're gonna purl the next stitch, slip this stitch, and yarn over, bringing that yarn to the front, purl, slip. So now we've created these stitches out of just 1 stitch. Now your purl stitches won't have a shawl, and that's okay because we will correct that on the next row. That's the only time your stitches won't have an associated yarn over with it. Okay, so let's bring our yarn to the front. We're going to do a brioche purl, purl. We'll do a brioche knit. Oops. And now both yarns to the front for a brioche purl. Okay, so we've done a SSK, a brioche SSK. So now let's do a brioche knit together. So this is a brioche knit 3 together. What you will do is you will tighten everything up, grab your contrasting color in one hand. You're going to create a yarn over with that. You're going to slip the first stitch as if to knit. You're going to knit the next stitch and its yarn over. Now you're going to pass this first slip stitch and its yarn over the top of that stitch, transfer the stitch to your left needle, and then take the next stitch and pass that and its yarn over the top of the stitch. All right, and now we're going to brioche purl, brioche knit, and then we will do that brioche knit 3 together again. So, let's do another purl so that we can keep in pattern. Okay, so again, yarn over with the contrasting color, slip as if to knit with that stitch and its yarn over. We're going to knit the next stitch, pass pass the slip stitch and its yarn over the top of that stitch, transfer the stitch to our left needle, and then pass the slip stitch, the next stitch, over the top. Snug everything up, and you can see it is a knit together. All right, so we're just going to finish this up with a brioche purl, a brioche knit, and then a brioche purl. Oops, see how the stitch doesn't have a shawl? We need it to have a shawl. So let's pick that shawl up and put it on our needle. So it's pretty easy to fix this if you notice drop stitches or what have you. So that's what it looks like now. We have our increased stitch coming from a singular stitch. We have the yarn. We have knit, purl, knit, purl, knit. So on the next row, I'm going to show you what that looks like so you can get a feel for it. So I'm going to pause it here and I'll speed it up and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so we are to the increase portion. I don't know if you can see this well, but there's a knit, a purl without a shawl, a knit, a purl without a shawl, and a knit. So we are going to go into that first stitch and its yarn over, knit it with the contrasting color, pull off, bring both to the front, purl it with the main color, just that one stitch. It doesn't have a shawl, but now it does, because now we're going to knit and we're going to put that yarn over the needle and knit it so it creates that shawl. Both yarns to the front and purl just that one stitch, no yarn over, because there isn't one. And then back to a brioche knit. So that's all of the stitches that I used in these two socks. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. But I think this gives you a little bit of insight as to how I hold my yarns. Is it fiddly? Yes, it's definitely a little fiddly, but I can really get going doing it this way, keeping the yarns both in my right hand. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me or message me on here. Thank you guys so much.